We good? We're live. All right. Welcome everybody to another episode here on the Digital Trade Show Podcast. We are live at the Profitable Dentist Practors Owners Conference in Orlando, Florida. And I'm very excited. We've got two guests with us from Breakthrough Dental Marketing. We've got Scott Allen, and Scott brought Dr. Bridenstine with us. They're both from Kansas City, and I'm really excited to have them both come on because in some regards, you'll have a representative from the company talk about what they're doing, their why, their story, some of their features and benefits. But what I was really excited about with them is, has Scott bringing on Dr. Bridenstine to talk about how things are actually working in his practice with the techniques and a lot of the marketing things that you guys are doing with your company. So thanks for coming on the podcast.
Not a problem.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it. So if you could maybe share a little bit about your story and kind of your background and things like that.
Been practicing for 30 years.
All right.
Always been heavily involved with marketing. I'm kind of the marketing guy, direct mail, radio, TV, all that, and strong on the internet. I had my website redone a few years ago, wasn't very happy, and found Scott, who's outside of dentistry. I'm bringing him into the dental world. They redid my website. I was already doing 80 to 100 new patients a month. It's me and a prosthodontist. It's a 2-doctor office with 3 full-time hygienists, 8 operatories.
Yep.
I was averaging about 20 new patients a month just off pure internet surfers. Brought him to do my digital marketing in his company, and we've almost doubled that.
Wow.
So that's why we're here.
Awesome.
To let other dentists know that you can be successful on the internet, because that's where everybody's going nowadays.
Sure. Scott, how about a little bit about your backstory?
We had, my business partner and I had a traditional marketing company, and then just through the course of it, to be completely transparent, Dr. Bridenstine is my dentist, my personal dentist.
Got it.
Through the course of just having conversations, we ended up working together and started doing his marketing for the practice. And I think one of the things that's been exciting about this and what gives us a little different wrinkle than your traditional marketing company and then the digital or dental marketing company rather is that he's a wet finger practicing dentist. So the stuff that we're using on his practice is we get a very close feedback loop where he will be, hey, this isn't working, we pivot.
Right.
Or Scott, this is awesome, turn the juice up here. So that's kind of how we connected the dots and ended up where we're at now.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about the company in general, just some of the things that you focus on, really what where you spend a lot of your time in regards to on the marketing side.
Sure. One of the things that we hear dentists bemoan a lot is with a lot of times with the marketing companies, they'll sign on, the marketing company's flirting with them really high touch, first check hits the bank and then they go silent. And that's one of the tenets that the company is built on is we have one of the members of our staff, Britton Kimler, his entire job, what I tell him is I want no unhappy dentists. So we, in addition to just like the standard marketing, online SEO type things, we try to be very dental centric in that we are high touch. Our dentists, we never want to hear, I have a hard time getting in touch with these guys.
Sure.
So
that
answer the question?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
They call me once a week and say what's working and what's not working on the internet. What keywords, what are people coming in on? Because I ask everybody, how'd you find out about my office? Oh, I got you on the internet. May I ask you what you typed in? They tell me. And so I can give that immediate feedback to them when they call me once a week. And they keep fine-tuning. Yeah. So now I'm ranked number 1 on every dental service that I perform. Mm-hmm. It's just tweaking. Just not, they sign me up and have a nice day.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you know how it is, Scott. I mean, the internet, by nature, everything is kind of like a rough draft, right? There is no perfect answer. There is no magic pill. It's all liquid. Okay. And the element of having that dynamic relationship for you to get feedback quickly, I'm sure not only helps you, but then helps you provide that service to the practices you work with.
Yeah, he's certainly not shy about giving feedback. So.
Right.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah. That's good.
Well, to your point though, it is awesome to have that immediate where you can. It gives us. We have the stability component of we know this is working, and it also gives us the ability to experiment with some outlier things that gives us a little bit of a secret weapon that the other. We have the ability to try something that may be a little bit, out of the box type thinking and test it pretty quickly and say, oh, that's the fish are biting right there, so we're going to park the boat there, or not something there, and move on with it without a lot of it's just more efficient, more cost effective to do it
Yeah.
that way, to have that feedback loop going.
It's crazy how it's changed, right? When you think about it, back in the day with marketing plans, you would spend all this time on the front end, and then you would implement it, and then you would hope and wait without the quick feedback. I mean,
Well, as we know in marketing, what works in Kansas City may not work in LA. What works in
Right.
Cincinnati doesn't work in Orlando. And with that immediate once-a-week feedback, they know they can tweak that demographic, that area that I'm in, where it might not have to tweak in Ohio.
Right.
Or New York. So that's what I like about this company, is that they can fine-tune whatever practice the doctor's running, whatever things they like to do, whether it be Invisalign or implants or whatever, plus the area that they're in, with that immediate feedback, they can keep honing and fine-tuning and get the phone to ring immediately off the internet.
Yeah, it's awesome. So let's talk about some things that are working. What are some things right now, maybe in 3 months from now, that might not be working as far as marketing and that, but what are some things that you guys are doing right now that you're seeing some really good results?
We are, to your point about the internet constantly changing, there seems to be a rise in, I think at some point the search traffic will be almost 90-10 on the mobile side of things versus going to the laptop type of approach. And I think the laptop still has its place, but one of the layers right now that we're really focused in on is voice search, because you tend to use it in a more naturally speaking, dentist near me.
Right.
Where's the closest dentist? And instead of just dentist. So it's user intent, and we're trying to be the answers to those questions. So if I have a broken tooth, instead of tooth broke, it's a little more expansive, and it's interesting in that the way that dynamic is working, really having good success with that philosophy of really being hyper aware of what the mobile is and how intertwined it is in people's lives right now. Because right now, when people are watching TV, they're not watching commercials. They're flipped over and they're making a couple Facebook scrolls.
Right.
And if they happen to be researching anything, unless you've got like an emergency dental situation, if they're looking for high-end procedures, they may start the search on their phone, so your presence there is important. And then they're more than likely going to go do some more deeper dive research on the laptop. So we're that teeter-totter's what we're writing right now.
Yeah, because I know, I'm curious from your perspective. Yeah. I mean, I see this in my own company where, we get analytics on how often people are on their computer in their office or their mobile phone, and certainly the trends are going that way. I know traditionally in dental practice, it was heavily favored towards the laptop, only because you're in your practice and you would be seeing a lot of things there. But it seems like, I don't know, like if you take a break in your practice, are you going to your phone? Are you using your computer more?
I don't. We don't allow anybody in my office to use phones, so I got to set the example.
Okay.
Because I don't want my front desk scrolling and stuff like that.
That's very true.
But we found, I don't know where's millennial cutoff? Is 35 and under millennials?
I think so.
Everything is on their mobile phone.
Yeah.
100% of our patients that are 35 and under, they found us on their phone.
Yeah.
And so you need a top heavy, fine-tune tweak into that.
Mm-hmm. What's not working, or maybe what was working, and now you guys are seeing little by little it's changing in the sense that
the biggest thing we've noticed, particularly just with the online presence side of it and the SEO slant, is it used to be Google is taking longer and longer to just things like if you have a brand new website, getting it indexed used to be a couple days, sometimes a week or two at most, and now it's not unusual to have a brand new website, spool it up, and have an extended period of waiting time for just to get indexed so that Google can see it. In a lot of ways, I think that's a good way, because Google is really, and the search engines in general, are starting to really work on the quality. So a lot of the spammy type stuff that used to work, where you could keyword stuff and just blast it, that's really, they're starting to mitigate that, which I think ultimately they're trying to make a better user experience.
Absolutely.
So I think everybody involved in this is going to be a benefit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool.
The three things people are looking for on their cell phones is three things: location, convenience, and reputation stuff.
Right.
I got people that drive all the way across town, but their job is like that. Their workplace is just right down the street, so that's convenience, or maybe convenient hours. Location, internet, and it's all off the phone, and they're able to tweak that in there. So a lot of eyeballs and a lot of traffic see your office and your phone number and your website.
Right. What have you learned just in your time in working with Scott and his team that you would offer up to another one of your colleagues, for example, that might call you and say, I really need to do more for whatever that is from a marketing perspective, and just with what you've learned, what would be a couple short little pieces of advice that you?
Well,
would
a lot of
offer up?
doctors have been out as long as I have, 30 years. They're looking to slow down. They want an associate doctor. So a lot of them have the patient flow to keep them busy, and they're hygienists, but they don't. They're afraid to take that Indiana Jones leap of faith to the Holy Grail and get an associate doctor. And it's the magic number to the 20-20 rule. 20 new patients a month, 20 same-day work-ins. You can support an associate doctor. So if they can get the internet rocking and rolling, the doctor can still do his cosmetic dentistry, his Invisalign, or whatever they like to do, implants, and give a lot of the general dentistry that's coming in off the phone, a lot of it off the internet, to their associate doctor.
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. How about, I know you talked a little bit about voice, but I'm curious, do you still see, do you do like any like direct mailing marketing? I mean, are you strictly digital? Is that where you guys focus? I mean, do you do any of the other?
The lion's share of what we do is digital. We will absolutely do a consulting advisory type of things. In certain places, and as an example, with new move-ins, and I'll let him speak more to that, but that's a spot where, a lot of times people are like, well, traditional mailers don't really work, but with new move-ins particularly, that's one where I know he's had a lot of success with the print component.
Yeah, I hire a company that does a wrap with my big postcard in it, so it's cheap to send out 20,000 to the neighborhood.
Sure. Then
I send out about 1,000 to new move-ins in a wider radius. And I ask everybody that comes in, how'd you find out about my office? Oh, I got you on the internet. May I ask what you typed in? Oh, I got you off your flyer. So it's all synergistically. Sometimes they don't even know how they found us,
right.
but all works together to get the phone ring. And so I still do direct mail because I want people to know that I'm there, but they always go to the website and check you out.
Sure.
Then they'll call.
So you got to have both. But you're right. But in a lot of cases, I mean, I know, from time to time, a dental practice will, send us at the house a nice piece, and I look at it. I don't look at the bills, but I look at that, right? I mean, I don't want to look at the other stuff.
Well, direct mail is like a parade. The first time you get it, you don't have a dental problem. It's right hand, left hand trash can goes in.
Yeah.
But I get people saying, how'd you find out my office? I got you on your flyer. It's the 9th one I've got. I keep getting your flyers, or I keep getting your postcards. So one day they're going to have a dental issue, or a friend or family member, they're going to call you.
Yeah.
It's top of consciousness.
Yeah. So when you started to work with Scott and his team, what was maybe one of the first things where you started to realize you're like, wow, like I'm getting some results and this is really...
They listened to me.
Yeah.
Number one, they didn't prejudge. We can help you. I had a great website. I hired another guy who kind of crashed, didn't like it. They fixed my website, and then they told me, look, this isn't going to be an overnight thing because of the Google thing. And so they went as fast as Google let them do all the different plugins and everything. Yeah. I was patient. They were patient with me. I gave them all my information, the kinds of patients I want, where I want to be ranked. They listened to me. They called me every week. How's it going? They informed me how things were going. And then after 90 days, things started rocking and rolling on the phone.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. So how can people learn more about what can you service dental practices all over the country, or do you have a certain part of the... Okay.
Absolutely. BreakthroughDentalMarketing.com.
Okay.
All of our information is there.
Okay.
And we actually have scheduling. So if you want to, more than happy to jump on the phone, do a consultation. Kind of to what he was talking about is, I will put the caveat out there that we are not necessarily for everyone.
Sure.
Where we like to be respectful of. There's certain practices where it's just not a match.
Yeah.
And we can have an initial phone call, chat about it, and see if it's a match. And if it is, then we go the next steps. And if it's not, no big deal. I can definitely refer off to better match type things.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I think a lot of times you don't see that a lot from companies. I mean, it's the thought process is that you want to be able to help as many people as you can, but as you've said and you've learned, obviously, you can only do so much to be great. And who you're working with.
It's okay to say no.
It totally is.
Well, I'll tell you, from a dentist point of view, and they've worked with some of these dentists, they've done all this work, all this groundwork, and the doctor's saying, nobody's calling my office. Well, they'll call during normal business hours. Answer machine. No one answers the phone. All marketing does is make your phone ring. That's all it does. Whoever answers the phone controls the net income of your office.
Yeah.
So there's only so much they can do. If they're going to find a doctor that's just not going to have a quality person answer the phone, what's the point of making that investment?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so some fun questions.
Lightning round time.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I am.
Go ahead.
This one's for you, Scott. If there was a song that would best describe you, or a genre of music that would best describe you, what would it be?
Wow. I don't know if I'm going to be able to answer. I'm a former DJ, and I've got I'm flipping through
there you go.
mentally in my head.
Cool.
There is an old dance record by a producer called Love Beats, and it's called A Vibratory Thing.
Okay.
And it's sampled from an old Quincy Jones record. And it is sort of what we were making reference to. It's that relationship building.
Yeah.
Not everybody vibes on the same level.
Right.
And there's not always a connection. So off the top of my head, that's the best I can come up with.
Hey, that's cool. I like it. I like the
Weird
Quincy
answer,
Jones.
yeah.
No, I mean, hey, it's all relative. How about favorite sandwich?
Favorite sandwich? I like roast beef sandwiches.
All right.
It's got some meat in there.
All right.
It's going to keep me filled for a long time. It makes
Excellent.
me happy.
Good. A book that you gift. Is there a book that you like that you've gifted to a family or friend or a colleague? Or?
There's a book that I've been a big fan of called The Design of Everyday Things. Dr. Nielsen Norman.
Okay.
They're both doctors, and what it addresses is, have you ever walked up to a door and pushed on a pull handle or vice versa?
Yes.
Well, a lot of people, their gut reaction is, oh my God, I'm stupid. And this book goes into, it's the design of everyday things, and they talk about with certain door handles you can visually tell this is a pull handle and this is a push handle. I always like to give that because it's something that not a lot of people think about. It's a kind of a non-traditional approach to things, and it's an interesting read even for people that aren't in a design space.
Sure. All right, so if you had the opportunity to either get the Nobel Peace Prize, an Academy Award, or an Olympic medal, which would you choose?
Well, probably the Nobel Peace Prize, because that's giving back.
Yeah.
You've already proved that you've done something for a country or for a cause to help other people. The other ones is self-gratification. Good for you. Congratulations. You worked hard for it. But I like to give back, just like in my dental practice. We do a lot of things to give back to the community, give back to charities, local, national, and international.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, so last one for you. Is there a marketing mentor or somebody out there that you like, you follow,
Apologize, my phone
that got a customer calling right now?
Yeah.
I love it. It's okay. They're interested. I love it. But like somebody that's in the marketing world, like a mentor of yours that you really have kind of gravitated to lately, and you kind of find yourself, pulling a lot of ideas from and things like that.
I've always been kind of a big Frank Kern fan, just because where he came from and where he is now is a pretty interesting story, particularly because he broke the mold, and he also, it may not still be true as of today, but at one point he held the record for the highest grossing marketing campaign. So the guy's an internet legend, and he's I really like his stuff, and I guess I would go with him.
Yeah. Okay. Now, how about for you in your world? Is that like a dentist or someone that either was a mentor over the years or someone that you looked up to?
I was actually in Frank Kern's very first platinum group, and I was the only dentist, so I took a lot of his stuff. It was for 2 years going to San Diego.
Yeah.
But I've also been a Dan Kennedy guy for years.
Yeah.
The No BS letter. So between Frank Kern and Dan Kennedy, I've done a lot of copying or research.
Sure.
And taken a lot of that back to my dental practice.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, guys, it's been great. I really appreciate you coming on the podcast, and I always love, certainly something we want to do more is have a company bring on, a doctor that they're working with and seeing some great results and getting your feedback. So I really appreciate both sides of that. And, for anybody out there, Breakthrough Dental Marketing, check them out. Go to the website. I'm sure you guys will, spend some time and see if it's a good match. And I'm excited to see what you can continue to do to help people.
Very good.
Which is
Thanks
awesome.
for having us on.
Hey, thanks for your time.
Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Our pleasure.